the Prophet's, peace be upon him, companions who used to consult him about Hajj matters, and he used to give them proper advice, simplifying their duties and the duties of the whole nation after him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, and his companions, God bless their souls, completed their rituals and returned to where they had come from, especially those who had come out with the Prophet, peace be upon him. Upon their return to Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara, the Prophet, peace be upon him, rejoiced and said, "We return grateful and repentant to God." Sources differ in determining the exact number of pilgrims who took the journey with the Prophet, peace be upon him. Some say they were 100,000, while others claim that they were 114,000 pilgrims who witnessed the Prophet, peace be upon him, deliver his speech in Arafat. The commandments of the Prophets, peace be upon him, during the farewell Hajj did not only entail religious matters related to Hajj, but also depicted organizational issues. The Prophet, peace be upon him, appointed a prince responsible of Hajj. He also specified the resident locations of each tribe so that they could avoid clashes and conflicts during the Hajj. The farewell Hajj, where the Prophet, peace be upon him, revealed all that the Islamic nation needed regarding duties and organization, was completed. The Prophet, peace be upon him, passed away shortly after leaving his nation on the path of the White Hajj, and thus the righteous caliphs followed his path in all aspects of life, including Hajj. Al-Rashid Caliph Abu Bakr al-Sadiq performed Hajj in the year 12 AH, as did many Umayyad and Abbasid caliphs, like Abdul Malik ibn Marwan in the year 75 AH, and Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr in the year 71 AH, when he ruled Mecca al-Mukarramah. Many caliphs and princes used to distribute loads of money to the people of Al-Haramain during Hajj, in addition to the great expansions they would do in Masjid al-Haram and al-Masjid al-Nabawi al-Sharif. A specific example of that would be the Abbasid Caliph al-Mahdi, who built the second most important construction in the history of al-Masjid al-Haram after the custodian of the Al-Haramain al-Sharifain, King Fahd bin Abdulaziz, God bless their souls. This was also done by Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid, who led Hajj journeys in 3 years, 170 and 186 AH. Nevertheless, historical sources depicted many unfortunate mishaps which took place during Hajj, such as what happened in the year 66 AH, when 4 flags were raised, one belonging to Abdullah ibn al-Zubayr, the second belonging to Ibn Amr from al-Khawarij, the third being the flag of Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah from the Shiites, and the fourth under the flag of al-Sham people from the Umayyads of Madar. Moreover, in the year 199, people performed Hajj without an imam, nor a speech because of the conflict between Ibn Tabar and the Caliph al-Ma'amun over the rule of Mecca al-Mukarramah. As the year 314 AH approached, Al-Karamata started planting seeds of discord around Hajj. Therefore, the Iraqi Hajj stopped for 3 consecutive years because Al-Karamata cut off their path while Hajj season was not affected. In the year 317 AH, the Karamata army claimed that they wanted to perform Hajj, while in fact, They wanted to sabotage Hajj in accordance with their corrupt and misguided beliefs. When they started to kill pilgrims, the people of Mecca and the surrounding regions thwarted them. But they deceived the Meccans and killed what runs to about 30,000 pilgrims, according to historical sources. The deviant group were not thwarted. They also tore the curtains of the holy Kaaba and stole its door. They pulled the black stone out and carried it to the east of the Arabian Peninsula for a period of 22 years, according to some historians. This political weakness that the Abbasid state witnessed after its golden era that ended with Al-Ma'mun or Mu'tasim contributed to shaking the economy of the two holy mosques and the surrounding regions. This led to the establishment of Al-Arab, who used to cut off pilgrim paths, as occurred in the year 363 when a group of Al-Arab attacked pilgrims and killed many. This incident led to the annulment of Hajj that year, despite all the tragic events that took place since the Hajj of the Prophet, peace be upon him. The Hajj was and will always be, until the day of resurrection, the focus of attention and ultimate aspiration of Muslims in every place and time. Nevertheless, Muslims were not the only people who cared about Hajj. Many historical sources indicate that Europeans as well were interested in Hajj for different reasons. These sources identify the year 908 AH as the beginning of the European flow to Mecca for painting, photography, or to record information about the Hajj of Muslims. Some Europeans were also part of the exploration expeditions of the Arab countries which were active during that period. Among the most prominent visitors was the Italian Fatima, who called himself Al-Hajj Yunus al-Mazri, or the English Richard Erne and Joseph Beets, and the Danish Carsten Nabor, who arrived in Jeddah in 1175 AH. Nevertheless, their depictions in the books and memoirs they wrote about Mecca al-Makrama were inaccurate and lacked credibility. On the other hand, Domingo Leblech, or Ali Bek al-Abbasi as he called himself, after he claimed to have converted to Islam, is considered the first European explorer to paint Mecca accurately. Lebec, who attended Hajj in 1221 AH, writes that what mainly drew his attention is that the Sharksi made friendship with the Ethiopian from Habasha, or the Negro of Guinea, and that the Persian embraced the Moroccan of Marrakesh. They all treated each other as brothers. He also described Arafat very accurately. Moreover, Burckhardt estimated the number of pilgrims in the year 1229 AH to be around 70,000 pilgrims, saying that there is no such small place on earth as Arafat that would engulf such diversity of languages, which added up to 40 or undoubtedly much more than that. The number of pilgrims kept steadily increasing. Sources show that in the year 1370 AH, 100,000 pilgrims performed Hajj, and during the reign of King Abdulaziz bin Abdul Rahman Al Saud, the founder of Saudi Arabia, the number of pilgrims increased by 50% to reach 150,000 pilgrims. The number kept on increasing to reach more than 2 million pilgrims in recent years. This increase in the number of pilgrims is due to many reasons, among which is the improvement of transportation means, which made reaching the holy places even easier. Moreover, Saudi kings, starting with the founder, King Abdulaziz Al Saud, alienated Hajj and pilgrims from political conflict and competition. Nevertheless, the most important factor to the increase of the number of pilgrims was the great expansion of the two holy cities, Mecca and Medina, which enabled huge numbers of pilgrims to perform Hajj easily and readily during the past few years. The expansion made by the custodian of the two holy cities, King Fahd bin Abdulaziz, is considered the most important expansion in the history of the Holy Mosque. More so since there was none before it of such size, which positively influenced Umrah and Hajj rituals for millions of Muslims. And in turn, during the first years of his rule, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz hugely expanded the path and the pebble throwing spot, which reduced accidents, resulting from the shoving of the crowds until they vanished completely.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم